best of 2025. Running for CFL commissioner, Arash Madani was a free agent. He made this declaration on the cage.
Fellas, let the record show that on the 13th day of March, 2025, at 18:18 p.m. Eastern Time, I am now formally putting in my candidacy for commissioner of the Canadian Football League.
We thought it was coming.
Yeah, I'm an unrestricted free agent. I'd like to ask the two of you to advocate on my behalf. Let's make this happen. Let's make the push to Wellington Street.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I'm in.
Yeah.
We weren't good at that, obviously, because I don't even think he was in the running. Let's go talk to Arash.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
You had one job. You had one job in 2025, Barney. Come on, man.
Oh, we were young and stupid back in March, weren't we?
We sure were. Although the way things have gone for Stuart Johnson, maybe it ended up okay.
Oh, wow. I think we could have changed things with just one sentence different. I would have coached you. You know that. I would have had your back.
Yeah.
We would have been there. Not that I should be giving people advice on what to say and what not to say. That's for sure.
Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, we're there. You were just playing tennis, I hear?
I was just playing tennis and it did not go well. So thankfully I had this segment to call it quits because you know, like you're a golfer, right? You know, when the driver isn't working, you're like, all right, I'll just go irons off the tee. And then when you can't chip, where the heck? And then the putter's not where. It's just one of those days where nothing was happening. Yeah.
I usually tell a buddy, I'm like, hey, bottle me. Put me out of my misery. Yeah. Send me home. I shouldn't be here. Okay, 2025. We're going to revisit that throughout the show here as we go. But for you, not so much 2025, 2026.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in the next year?
Well, like there's so much happening through the lens of Canadian sports, Barney. Like it's a big event year. Like we're 6 weeks away from the Olympics starting. You know, right after that is the World Baseball Classic that's kind of taken on a life of its own. This summer, for the first time ever, the World Cup of soccer is coming into Canada. Like that's all in the first 6-7 months of the year. And we haven't even gotten into, you know, Stanley Cup and the Blue Jays and CFL and the rest. So I kind of look at those three events early in the year because it's one of those things where we're not really thinking about it now or talking about it now. But once it arrives, I think it's just going to kind of take over conversations across the country, especially Olympics and World Cup.
Yeah, that World Cup. And I remember getting wrapped up in it the last time. And it was the Women's World Cup, too. I've been wrapped up into that. And I'm like, look at me, soccer guy. But first time ever, like you mentioned, Canada is going to be hosting it. Third time that we are paying our entry fee to play in it as well. What can we expect?
Well, so third time the men's team has ever gone. Like the first time was 1986. The other time was Qatar. And Qatar in 2022, it kind of felt like the walk before you run. I'm going to get, like, I really believe, Barney, if the stars align, this is going to be the summer where if Canadians didn't know who Alphonso Davies was before, they're absolutely going to get the arrival of this kid now. I mean, you talk about, well, like what a Canadian story. First of all, he scored the first goal ever by a Canadian in a World Cup almost 4 years ago when they went there to Qatar. And the story that, you know, they're refugees, they end up in Edmonton. Alphonso starts to play as a teenager. He goes to the Vancouver Whitecaps, and then Bayern Munich signs him. He is like Christine Sinclair for a long time was the face of women's soccer. Alphonso Davies, to me, this summer is going to be absolutely the player that everybody is going to be talking about.
Let's move to the Olympics. You said 6 weeks out. It is crazy. Yeah. Hockey team comes out tomorrow. We're going to be talking hockey a lot here, but maybe give us another name, another event, another team that we're going to be talking about when it comes to Italy in 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I want to be like careful about this because I get it. Like hockey's going to take up the ecosystem. But, in Olympics past, there was Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, the Canadians kind of got into with the figure skating. If you go back way back when, Liz Manley and Kurt Browning figure skating.
I was just going to throw out Elizabeth Manley.
I was at an event about a month ago, and there's Elvis Stoico, and I'm like, "Hello, adolescence! I remember when you were a thing." I think the curling's going to be a big story.
But sorry, I want to add, wasn't Elizabeth Manley the pioneer of the biting the metal thing?
She sure was.
Yeah.
Calgary 88 out of nowhere wins a silver medal on a Saturday night at the Saddle Dome. Debbie Thomas of the United States was the gold medal favorite, and Liz Manley wins the silver. That's a great pull there.
Take a seat.
Let me throw a name at you, man. Okay. His name is Mikkel Kingsbury, freestyle skier. He is probably the most accomplished mogul skier of all time. And we actually have had a pretty good history of mogul skiers. There was Jean-Luc Brassard who won gold in the 90s. Alex Bilodeau, Vancouver 2010, won Canada's first ever gold medal on home soil.
Wasn't that mountain bad or something in Vancouver, though? Like they couldn't make snow for the longest time? Yeah.
Sure was. So all these people talking about, well, the rink isn't ready. I'm like, well, let's slow our roll when we're judging others.
Classic Canadians.
Right. Like the Zamboni wasn't working at the speed skating venue. We didn't have snow on the mountains. But Mikkel Kingsbury is, to me, one of the most incredible stories. Like, here's a dude who has been to 3 Olympics, 3 podiums, including 1 gold. Barney, he has done everything in his career. 8 world championships. He has like 99 World Cup medals. Like the resume is complete. And now this is the final brushstroke. Like we're going to talk about, like in the freestyle skiing world, Kingsbury's like it. And now if he can somehow win another gold, make it 4 Olympics, 4 medals, including 2 golds, we're talking about among the greatest of all time here.
If you watch those moguls, geez, I wonder, can I interview a mogul, somebody that's in their 50s and ask how their joints are doing, how their knees from that impact and it's like, and the other, the other one I remember, like who can forget it? The Ross Rebliati, whatever.
Rebliati, yes.
Yeah. Remember when that captured our attention? What Olympics was that? Salt Lake? No.
I want to be
Nagano?
Salt Lake. Nagano 98? Maybe it was that one.
Colson? Ross? Yeah. Rebegliat. Don't get me to spell it. I can't even pronounce it. What year?
You stripped him of his medal because he tested positive, but it was for cannabis.
98. Nagano.
Yeah.
Poor Ross. Now it's legal. So...
Think about the endorsement deals he'd get now if that were to happen.
No doubt. Yes.
Right? I'm actually on his Instagram right now, Barney. His latest post, premium straight cut pre-rolls, proud supplier to Good Vibes GMO. Ross is keeping it consistent.
Good on
a quarter of a century later.
Nothing will ever beat, though, Ben Johnson promoting Cheetah energy drink. Nothing will ever beat that. I still can't believe that was a real thing. You mentioned...
Remember the tagline, though? Remember the tagline for the Cheetah drink? I cheetah all the time.
Man, that is so good. That is so funny. Man. Oh, we should pull that commercial up, Colson. You mentioned the hockey rink. Have you, with your people, and you're talking to a lot of people every day and all that, what have you heard? Are you worried about it at all?
I'm not at all. I'm not at all. Barney, I'll remember Sochi 2014.
Yeah.
Going to places like Olympic venues a week out that like barely existed. And then by the time they lit the flame, it was ready to go. Like, it's the weirdest thing when there's a deadline for something, isn't there? Like, you show up to anything, you're looking around, a month out, and you're like, how is this possible that they're going to have this thing ready? They will have it ready. It has to be ready. It may not be 100%, but it'll be passable. And on TV, no one's going to notice. And, the show will go on. All right, maybe the ice will be a little bit smaller. Whatever. It's going to be a non-factor once things get started.
You brought up the World Baseball Classic, and that's something because I was talking to some guys, and they're planning on going. I want to say to Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican game, not the American games. They're going somewhere crazy and really taking in the experience and all that. This event has kind of really snowballed here. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the last 5-ish years.
Yeah, I think it was the last one in 23 that just blew up. Like, the gold medal game was Japan versus USA. And how does it end? Shohei Ohtani on the mound facing Mike Trout with a world championship on the line. Barney, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. I covered this tournament. I covered Team Canada with it. And like over the years, like I've been lucky enough. I've probably covered, 700, 800, maybe 1,000 big league baseball games. After, a Wednesday in May in Milwaukee, you don't remember anything. The weirdest thing happened when I showed up in Arizona for a Canada game. You suddenly start to care. And the way this WBC organically just unfolded 3 years ago, and, teams were saying, we don't want our players going because it's the middle of spring training. We don't want them to get hurt. Already, Team USA has a powerhouse group of guys who've signed up. Everybody wants to be part of it. This is the closest thing that baseball has to being able to participate in the Olympics in a best-on-best tournament. And I actually think Canada's going to have a semi-decent team if everybody that could play does play. I'm not saying they're the U.S. I'm not saying they're Japan or Dominican, but they're right there.
That's okay. On the heels of that, do you know what about Freddie Freeman? Who's he playing for?
Freddie Freeman, if he plays in the World Baseball Classic, will suit up for Canada.
Oh, nice.
For those, like we're talking about an NL MVP. We're talking about now a 3-time World Series champion. We're talking about the World Series MVP. And the reason why is that Freddie's late mother, Rosemary, was born in Canada. And as a tribute to her, Rosemary died of cancer when Freddie was a young boy. He suits up for Canada at the WBC. And he did it not only in 2023, but the one previous to that. And he has always said that that's what I'm going to do, which is very cool. And Freddie always says, my mom would have been in the front row with a big sign that said, that's my boy, that's my son. She would have loved it. So now Freddie's like, okay, it's time for us to win some games.
Nice. I want to ask you some CFL stuff here. What do you think of Sam Emilus? I was surprised that they released that on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, the timing was a little interesting. I guess they must have gotten it done right around then. I don't know how many tickets they would have sold on season tickets they would have sold on Christmas Eve, but I think it's important to get it done before the end of the calendar year because it counts against the 2025 cap, not the 2026 cap. Look, to me, there are two musts this offseason for the Riders, or I guess 3. One's the quarterback, okay. One's Emilus, the other's Tavon Campbell. Now, Tavon Campbell's 32. I'm wondering, why is he not signed? Does he want to keep playing football? Does he not? I'm not sure. There's some weird rumblings about that. But to me, like, it's a no-brainer for the Riders to bring him back. Now, I will say this, Barney, you and I watch a lot of NFL, okay? And I get most guys who go down to the NFL or the CFL experience are kind of like Tavon Campbell. They play for 2-3 years, a couple of different teams, like Tavon Campbell did, and then they go south of the border. They bounce around like Campbell did with the Chargers and the Jaguars, and they get a cup of coffee with the Raiders and come back. I don't know. Like, I look at him right now. I look at pro football right now, south of the border, and I say to myself, if you are a defense that likes to have big, strong, physical corners, and not all defenses are like that, but like the Vikings are, Tavon Campbell makes a ton of sense. So I'm it's just the age, 32, but, if you just want him for a year or two, he can still play. So I'm just interested to see how this all unfolds for the Riders, for Campbell moving forward.
Because I was saying the same things as you, and like, does anyone know him? What does he do? What's his wife? Does he have kids? Where does he live? Like, he's from the Greater Toronto area. Is he out there? And then, is football still? Does he have the burn? Does he want to play? I'm expecting someone from 3 Down Nation. Like, those guys are always on. They know everything about everything. They're following people around, surveillance van style. Like, I want to know.
Is that what they're doing?
Like, give us the Tavon Campbell update, because he's on my list. What are you expecting CFL wise though, 2026? Looking forward. Any crazy hot takes?
Well, here's one for you. And this is not sourced, and this is not the league is leaning this way. It would not surprise me if at some point in 2026 they claw back the idea of removing the 55-yard line. It would not shock me if they say, you know what, we're going to keep all the rule changes, both teams on the same sideline, the goalposts back, the change to the rouge, blah, blah, blah. All those are going to stay. It wouldn't, I don't know, Barney, I just got this hunch. And again, it's not sourced. It's not that I've talked to people about it, etc. I think that there's been so much noise, like at some point give the fans something, but give those venues something. Give the stadiums that the league plays in a little something, especially since you didn't have them involved. It's okay to say, hey, we're going to do 90% of what we decided. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So that's just something that wouldn't surprise me if it happened in 2026.
I remember saying that out of the gate. I'm like, which one can they go back on and not, cause too much fuss? There's always going to be fuss, especially the people that are dead set on never touch the game. We don't want change. But maybe that's an interesting point, and I'll be very curious to watch that. Stuart Johnston, rule changes. There's so much to unwrap over the next little bit. I want to ask you before we go, though, because I was talking about it, and I know TSN made it what it is. World Junior Hockey Championships. It was Boxing Day and hustle and bustle and all that, and I'm looking at the social media feed, Arash, and I'm going, why? Why do we as Canadians have to care so much about how many tickets are sold when the World Juniors are held in Sweden, in Finland next year, in Minnesota, and then beat our chest and pat ourselves in the back that we would be selling it out? Look at how many people are there.
But Barney, let me stop you there. Canada doesn't. When Canada hosts, they sell out Canadian games.
Mm-hmm.
But when Latvia is playing Denmark in the matinee on the 27th, how many people are in the barn?
Yeah, and you know what? You can go on how many tickets were sold, because corporate tickets, they'll just buy the package and whatever. So don't count that. Count how many actual human bodies are in the stadium. And we have the same thing exactly, to your point. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, to these people, I just want to know, what do you want? Do you want, okay, good, that's awesome. Good job, Canada. Do you want it held here every year? Like, I think that would be extremely sad. It's like, no, this thing's got to be played other places. It's already held here too much. So I'm curious on your take on the whole thing.
Yeah, that's part of it. The other is like it's really interesting. I think my former colleague Mark Spector was the one who tweeted it, because the Wild were up in Edmonton, and the Minnesota officials were telling him and some others the organizers had expected an influx of Canadians to go down to the Twin Cities for the World Juniors. And part of their, air quote business model was that, there would be, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 Canadians coming down for it. That was going to sell out hotels. That was going to add to the economy, restaurants, ticket sales. It just hasn't happened. So that's an interesting part of all this. I guess, I don't know enough about the tournament itself. How big is it in Sweden or Finland or the Czech Republic compared to Canada? But I will say, on a total tangent on this, I think what Latvia's done is amazing when it comes to hockey development. They are a country with a population of 1.8 million people. Mm-hmm. And they continue to develop young hockey players, basketball players, and their fans travel extremely well. So that's what an incredible sports culture for a country that small.
And that's a really good point, because I grew up, I was saying earlier, Stéphane Fissé and the late 80s World Juniors in Canada would just absolutely dominate. And when it was in Saskatoon, and the stories of the Norwegians having to share sticks and goalies that look like street hockey goalies, and those days are so gone, never coming back, because every country is good. And no one gives a rip if you have 10,000 good hockey players. For this tournament, you need like 20. That's all you need. Yeah. And they become so good because of the Canadians, and how many Canadians go over there and help, and they coach, and they learn, and they steal different tactics. When I went to Finland and Sweden, it's one of the first things I would always ask: how big is the World Juniors here? How big is the World Juniors?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. The top kids want to play in that, but the reason, a lot of them would say, because it's such a big deal in North America.
Yeah.
And so it is. And so I don't, the Latvians, what they've done, and for us to shade them, I love it. And most people they're panicking. We're not playing as a team. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough that. Pump your brakes. Like Al Miller said on this show, every team is good.
Well, here's the other thing, Barney, is that, and this show and the Regina market aside, all these people with all these takes, how many minutes of junior hockey have you watched since January 8th of last year, or of this year? So you know nothing about any of these players. You have not seen them play, but, Johnny in Ottawa and, Sammy in Halifax have all of these opinions based on, watching 3 periods of hockey, eight Mooseheads deep.
What the hell do you know, Sammy in Halifax? That's what I want to know. All right, bud. Friday, have a good what do you got planned tomorrow? Play a nice little night out?
No, I avoid New Year's Eve because it's amateur night. My night is Jan 1 because it's Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl back to back.
Yeah.
And everywhere's dead from the night before. So there you go. Roll Tide. Alabama, Indiana.
Ever since I stepped foot in that Tuscaloosa Stadium, I'm on the Tide. And you'd be happy to know, when I was in Vegas with Mrs. S last week, I did put down a little sprinkle on the Patriots to win the AFC. I'm not very confident, but I had to do it.
There you go. Mr. Diggs may have put a wrench in those plans.
I know. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk Friday, buddy. Have a good New Year's tomorrow.
You too. Happy New Year to everybody listening and watching.
There he is. Arash Madani for Brian Golly. Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money, and call Brian Golly and his team at 546-2533. Waiting for the Pat Canadians game to start over on this TV over there, we got Latvia's up 1-0 on Denmark in the second period of play. We'll keep you updated here. We'll go to break. I'll be right back. It is a Sports Cage on the home of sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.